Welcome back to PowerDrift, folks. This is Michelin Motorshow updates with professional racing driver Mr. Aditya Patel. Now, Aditya, we've spoken about the Germans, we've spoken about the Japanese, but you cannot talk about supercars without speaking of Italians, which is why we're talking about
none other than
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
We're talking about the SP1 and the SP2. First off, wow. I mean, it looks like a concept, but it's not.
It's like we discussed with the Porsche, it's the heritage.
Yeah.
It's just going back to what Formula 1 cars were then, with that big wooden steering wheel and these guys wearing half-face helmets and those big goggles and everything. But yeah, I can imagine why they're the showstoppers. There's no roof, there's no windscreen,
It looks lethal.
Yeah, it does look lethal.
The SP1 and the SP2 are the first cars in Ferrari's Icona series. So we discussed with the Porsche Speedster being the first line of the Porsche heritage designs. Ferrari has taken the exact same route where they're charging you a whole lot more for a car that has a little bit of tradition put in. So this style of cars are called Barchettas, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
They pay homage to the legendary vintage Ferrari 160mm and the 750 Monza. When I looked at this car, the first thing I thought was super fast.
Yeah.
It has the lines of the super fast. And then looking at the specs, essentially it is a super fast underneath. So it comes with the same 6.5 litre V12 engine that produces around 800 bhp, 715 newton meters of torque. And the interesting thing about Ferraris is that power and torque is all the way
up there.
It's not in the middle of the range. So the power delivery is extremely linear and suddenly you get a surge of power on top. So you can imagine that this thing is going to be quite a screamer.
Yeah, well, basically you can't drive it slow is what they're saying. You've got to drive it fast.
Now, it's a super fast underneath, and the super fast in the US costs around $400,000 US. Take a guess at how much they're pricing this baby at.
They've only chopped bits off, so it's less than what a super fast would have. You don't even have a roof over your head, so if it rains, everything's going to get wet, including you. What, 300,000?
300,000?
Okay, let's take the heritage aspect into it. Let's throw some money in. $1 million.
$1 million. Last guess.
800,000.
$3 million. This
$3 million.
This is a 16 crore.
Why didn't you write that here? I'd know before.
They've priced it at $3 million and they're selling 499 of them. And as you can imagine, they're all completely sold out. But there is more to it than meets the eye, because of course you can't just chop the roof off and expect the car to be the same.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Here we have a picture of the interior. Tell us more about it.
Well, like you said, most of it is, it does resemble the Superfast. What I find really interesting is that big thing that goes across in the middle there between the driver and the passenger. I would think that that's for stability, chassis stability or rigidity, because you don't have a roof.
This is essentially a cross brace member that's put into the carbon tub, passenger tub, and essentially when you chop the roof off and it doesn't have an A pillar or a B pillar.
Exactly.
So this adds, it does look really cool, but it definitely adds stability angle. But get this, now it does have the specs of the Superfast, but it doesn't have a roof. So they have electronically limited the top speed to 300 kilometers per hour.
That's all?
But you can imagine that doing 300 kilometers per hour
without a roof on your head.
Without a roof on your head is going to be a little bit hairy, just a little bit. What have they done to combat that?
Well, that's interesting. I'm actually going to read it out here. They've designed what's called a virtual windshield. Now, by just looking at it, to me it just looks like a wind deflector that basically deflects the wind to pass over the driver's head.
So basically what Ferrari have said that is just a little bit of plastic that's beyond the steering column.
Beyond the steering column,
just a little bit, and that's just enough to deflect the wind over the passenger's head. All right, now this is based on the Barchetta style of cars, which were quite prominent in the 50s and 60s. Now, and you're paying $3 million. So Ferrari is saying, okay, we'll throw in a little bit more. So if you buy this machine, what you also get is a bespoke set of outfits that's designed to remind you of a better time. And what are those outfits like?
It's quite interesting actually. When I read about it, I was like, it's not only am I buying a car, but included in that I have to buy an outfit to be able to drive this car. Right? It's not like I can say I don't want the outfit. The outfit is going to come with it, and it basically includes trousers, a bomber jacket, special lace-up Oxford driving shoes, and a carbon fiber / leather helmet that will be fitted to the owner to match the leather of the car. So you can't drive another one out. You've got this kit.
That is crazy.
Yeah, so that's it's pretty cool actually that so much goes into these cars.
499 units is, I wouldn't say an exclusive number. It is quite possible that you might get to see one in the flesh in your lifetime, hopefully someday.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit more about the aero bits on this car, right? Now, unlike McLaren or other brands, Ferrari is known to be really famous of focusing on aesthetics rather than just performance bits and parts. So if you can just tell us a little bit about the aero that's on this car right here.
It's quite interesting. It's actually very smooth lines and smooth curves. There are no sharp bits. If you remember the Pista, we had a lot of like sharp bits and sharp changes in direction with the design and everything. But this is just very, very smooth lines. Not too much going on. It probably doesn't look like the most aerodynamic car, but it looks extremely sleek. An aerodynamic car, I would imagine, would have like a big spoiler, a big splitter, some fins in the front, some stuff sticking out of the side, but there's just not that much going on here, which is quite nice. I like the clean lines.
So could you imagine you have a big, great hunking V12 in the front? Can you imagine this being a handful on track? Because if you look at this long, great bonnet that you're going to be looking at, and
yeah, I don't think this one's not really built for the racetrack because they've got their race specialty cars, but this one, I don't know.
Especially looking at this from this angle, it reminds me of possibly negotiating a speedboat, because you have a big long bonnet. You're slunk in way at the back there, and you have to think about 20 times before you actually take a turn, right? But I gotta say, this is one incredible looking machine. This is what I was thinking about. Mark 5 Speed Racer.
Speed Racer, exactly.
Speed Racer. This is Speed Racer's car come to life.
Yeah.
So there you have it, folks, the Ferrari Speed Racer car come to life. Now the SP1 and the SP2. What do you guys think about this very exclusive, very limited $3 million car? You can let us know in the comment section below. Take us out.
See you guys.